see Ken's bite chomping at the bit. Welcome, everyone.
I'm sipping water. What is that?
Welcome, everyone, to Calling All Poets. I don't know, the 18,000 year that we've been doing this stuff. We have three wonderful features. We got some heavy hitters tonight: Ken Holland, Guy Reed, and Margaret Saraco. And then, of course, our exemplary open mic that always happens. We're here every first Friday, every third Thursday. And what else do you need to know? It's Calling All Poets. So let's get right into it. First, I want to thank everybody for hanging in there with all the technical stuff. And our first reader for the evening is Ken Holland. Has had work widely published in such journals as the Atlanta Review, Tupelo Quarterly, Tar River Poetry, and California Quarterly. He was awarded first place in several competitions, including New Ohio Review. His chapbook, Rust and Slag, was a finalist in both the 2024 Concrete Wolf and 2025 Moonstone Press competitions, which Moonstone subsequently published. His poem Sepia Life was a finalist in the Bicoastal Review's 2025 contest. He's been nominated not once, not twice, but 3 times for the Pushcart Prize. He writes during the day, edits in the evening, then lies sleepless through the night. More by visiting his website, kenhollandpoet.com. My good friend, Mr. Ken Holland.
All that is true, especially the good friend part. So let me just kind of jump in here as we're jumping around. I do have a handful of short poems that are sprinkled throughout the reading, and I'm going to start off with one. It's called Wait a Second. Clocks are best heard when they're bleeding out time, though time itself has no sound, no moving parts. It's strange we've created a machine that takes time into its hands and moves by way of a wheel, while time itself is quite content to stand on its own, to stand perpetually still. This is called Estuaries. Having moved from where I was to where I am, I've grown used to the sound of traffic loitering outside my window. It's coming from the highway a mile or so away and seems almost to have a texture as of soil first raked by rain. I recall being at that age, that fulcrum, when solidity met dissolution, that estuary where the fresh waters of the mountain had just met those of the sea, and a tide of brine folded its arms around me. I'm now of enough years to no longer think in terms of years. I measure my life instead by the number of species that have perished in the time of my own evolution. Just what that number might be. A question I pose to AI, which spins its shoulders, then sits back in repose and says it will have to get back to me. To which I reply, that's fine, but not to forget those species that will have perished in the meantime. There's much to waiting that has to do with rhythm, to finding its syncopation, the particular meter that underpins even dissonance, where the hard edge of a note meets the soft flow of traffic, and how in the hour of dark meeting dawn, the sounds that drove past my window became the sounds of this poem. So this next one is an anaphora poem. That's, of course, where the first line is repeated at the beginning of each stanza. This is called Happenings. Where are you? It just happens. You're digging up the front lawn after a dream in which, by digging, you'll find the dream that told you where the digging should begin. It just happens with barely a breath left when your head's held underwater. You think how odd it is to have your head held under by your own hand and no other. It just happens you have faculty of mind at a time in the world when sanity is the last thing you need to survive. It just happens you're pounding a brick wall with the ball of your fist when a drunk staggers up, hands you his bottle, and says, "Here, try this." It just happens a simple lie is the lie that best dresses as truth, that raises an aperitif when asked if he would kindly address the room. It just happens that while in bed, your left hand touched the palm of your right, and you thought you were not alone, as dawn pads into the kitchen and brews coffee for a company of one. It just happens the wall remains bricked against your desire to pass, but you still thank the bottle for the kindness of its breaking glass. So we'll go from there into something, thank you, something post-apocalyptic. This is called Modern Man, Ever More Modern. The wilderness. The wilderness is encroaching on my personal space. Vines are pulling down my high-rise. There's a wolf at my barista's door. I draw a bath of mud and musk. Dogs in heat stay in heat. Neighbors hold words up before their eyes and wonder what good they are. There's been a run on the bank where everything running has 4 legs and a winter coat. My kitchen chairs are a future fire. My doorbell answers to no one. The city is as alone as I am. The city is sitting next to me on chairs not yet aflame. I go to the kitchen to make us a cup of tea, hold the kettle outside the window to collect the rainwater we'll need. A flock of birds settles on my sill and builds a nest upon which to retire. I walk back to see the city staring at the space where the TV used to be. I place my hand on the city's knee. I place my hand on the place where once there was desire. Here's a short poem. It's called The Tell. When a neighbor starts his car in dawn's pre-dawn hour, he awakes not only myself, but a mourning dove as well, whose song, while sad, is more tentative still. As would anyone's be when in the dark we hear a knock at the door and wonder even more what the news will be, who it is who's taken ill, and must I be the one they need to tell? So Mike was kind enough to call out the chapbook. Oh, it looks just like this. Yeah. It's actually my first book of any sort and form, chap or otherwise. So I thought I would read a poem, of course, from it. This is called Pennsylvania Burning. It's based on a coal seam that caught fire in the 1960s in Centralia, Pennsylvania, and it's still burning. It's all underground. So Pennsylvania Burning. Smoke lifts from the ground. The coal burning down. Let me start there again. Smoke lifts from the ground. The coal burning through abandoned shafts and tunnelways, burning like a spree. The earth a commodity to be spent down to hot slag. Still, some miners hold out, grass smoldering beneath their feet, the soil itself breathing fever, a rank heat slapping the faces of men who for years daily descended into choke dust, their wages measured in whistle blasts, while the arc of day curved unseen. The last few finally packing their possessions, the earth burned steam last visible in rearview mirrors, reminding them of Pennsylvania dawns when ground fog gave cover to deer, and the men donned orange vests to hunt for things the land was still willing to give back to them. So this next poem mentions Allegri, who was a 16th century choral composer. And in fact, this composition called Miserere, which has to do with mercy. This is called On Mercy. What appears to be the brushwork of irreparable harm is how any loss begins. When the solo soprano approaches the high ethereal note in Allegri's Miserere, it is in perfected pursuit of mercy. Her breath held no longer than the hold of mercy itself. Her voice a measure of our pain, and therefore is that pain. Mercy like a wound. Mercy the fine edge of shrapnel lodged in a body, which moves as the body moves. Mercy cold enough to kill the birds of winter. Mercy that demands grief, if only to be merciful. Like any other God who brings irreparable harm and watches as the loss begins, and only then allows the singer to sing. So I'm going to give a shout out to this next poem. To Raphael, I reached out to her to figure out a particular line. And she had, bless her, no hesitation in giving me her preference, which I was very actually leaning towards. So this is called Ovid in Dream State. If we lack our own spirituality, it seems we've little to believe in but desire, which may be why we watch the woman in the river who becomes a stone around which the waters willingly part. Why we stop along a path when we see another creature, itself stopped, itself listening, but not to us. Or the wind on a windless day seen shaking the leaves of a distant tree, having shared beyond our hearing its quiet humor. To be privy to the simplicity of any life that's chosen to live outside its own complexity. And so we watch the woman in the river, and though just a stone, we are jealous of what inspirits her. The rest of shore she reaches for, the flash and spin of her waters. And thank you. This is another anaphora poem. It's called, very, very new, it's called If You'd Be So Kind.
Yes, I am. As I'm looking, all of my
Hello.
my poetry pals are on here. 28 of them to be exact.
Yeah, could we please mute yourself? Everybody but Ken, please mute
Yeah,
yourself.
look at this. Patricia Carragon.
Oh.
She's from New York, Manhattan.
Oh,
It's
no.
just one of those days.
Who is this? I don't know.
Greg, can you do the mass mute or? And thank you to that poetry pal out there who's giving blow by blow. It's
Greg, can you mass mute everybody?
I just did.
okay.
Except you and me and Ken.
Yeah. But you know, it allowed me to get a sip of water, so I want to doubly thank that poet. Okay, so this is If You'd Be So Kind. Lend us things that do not fail, the glazed utility of pottery, or the wind's decision to come lie at your feet. Lend us the deep taste of intractable faith, the particular simmer you've nurtured, the spoon we've lifted, then returned. Lend us a day not today that seems to be a gift, that we seem to open. Lend us another departure so we may stand on the pier and await your arrival. Lend us a book come autumn for the burning that will come to the leaves, for the leaves will be turning. Lend us what you're willing to lend. From this we'll create a mosaic where what's missing becomes part of the pattern. Lend us, if you will, just one private thought, and we'll place it in a place we'll soon have forgot. So this next one is called Blue Moon. I don't know whether it's, thank you, I don't know whether it's post-apocalyptic or pre-apocalyptic, or I could even keep saying apocalyptic. Blue Moon. This town is slipping away the way traditions do, or often love, or a person who's grown tired of life, or life of him. A town of front porches and the occasional widow's walk, of a lawn chair occupied by a stick figure with smoke from his cigarette the same shade as his hair. A town whose church doors are always open once the hinges were unscrewed, the doors themselves taken away and sold as secular salvage. A town where the sun shines not yellow but white, as it does upon the moon, and truth is a depth of shadow yet to be created. This a town where the dogs have gone off in a season of high heat, the females choosing not to return, raising their pups to be feral, and a cop who still walks a beat, his skin tinted with the race of every face he's ever stepped on. A town where the town crow has stolen the town's conscience, as if darkness were brilliant with the black absence of hope, where the telephone booth still works if you've mastered Morse code, and a horse that stalled at a traffic light as the light holds forth a bucket of oats. This, the town clock, the town council just approved to remove, as it's time to serve as tinder for the next burning of books, and a broke-back bar that steadies the stumble of the first evening star, while from a room long empty except for dust, the beautiful sound of an unstrung guitar. Thank you. So here's two very short poems, which I'm grouping together because their titles are similar. So the first one is called One Hand Clapping. I waited 5 or 6 minutes for nothing to happen. Then nothing did happen. And so here I wait. This one, not quite as light, is called One Bomb Clapping. If a nuclear bomb goes off on a small Pacific island, and all the people indigenous to that island are obliterated so that there are no witnesses, did the bomb really go off, or is death one bomb's imagination? This next one is also very new, and I just came back from traveling solo through Sicily, and so that's just how new it is. This is called Leave Taking. I've learned to let go of regret, but regret has yet to let go of me. It's just another bad breakup. One lover refusing to be moved, still in denial. I'm in my room, a bed and breakfast in Saraco, the island of Sicily. A bed I share with myself, a breakfast where regret used to be. Though there's still a possibility. Certainly someone is waving, but it seems just to be some leaves, so moved by the fall of light rain. Regret was never as gentle as that. Regret would bring on an argument at the first scent of espresso or a cappuccino. I recall when regret and I first took our vows, till death do us part. But as with all things to do with sacrament and religion, it's mostly a matter of interpretation. The many ways I've learned death can express itself. The death of an idea, or the slow death of what we think we need but cannot achieve. It seems one has to learn how to forgive oneself. Though this too comes slowly, this too is open to interpretation. For now, the light rain has lightened even more, and the leaves are asking when I'm leaving. It's the last thing I hear them speak. They've grown still and no doubt have better things to do than manifest everything that I think. All right, just, okay, here we go. Try to end. I got 2 or 3 more poems, so if you need to, let me know. I know we got a late start. This is pretty short. It's called Brainstorm. Brainstorm. And if you think about it, rain makes no sound as it is falling, not a sound that we can perceive, even when it's fallen from the sky and is now falling before us, has reached the height of our body, standing as we are in the rain, fools that we are to be standing in the rain. And what we hear is not the rain itself, but finally its impact, the tiny explosions against the earth, the street, the sound of rain being the moment when the rain ceases to be. Right, 2 more poems, and they're both on the short side, especially the last one. The sad joy of things, screw that one. Let's go right to the last one. That's what we're going to do. Okay, so because it gets me, it allows me to say that I'm tired of cats, getting all the credit, all the credit for like mysticism. Yes, I know, Joanne, I see you there. Mysticism and inscrutability and all that. So this last poem is called Zen of Dog. I let the dog in the back door. Dogs always seem to know where they're going. I follow the dog down into the basement. The dog lies down near the furnace. I wonder whose dog it is. I wonder if the dog will let me lie alongside him. Thank you for listening. Thank you so much. And looking forward, Guy, Margaret, open micers, thank you all.
Brilliant, Ken. Absolutely brilliant.
That's
Anybody want to say a couple kind words and we'll move on?
Yeah, a really strong presence, and I think a greater depth and awareness in a lot of these poems that I'm hearing than I'm recalling. I mean, not that you always had that, but some of these were, I was like, wow. And almost a spiritual effect in a lot of them. I love the Lend Us poem. What was the title of that one?
If you'd be so kind.
If you'd be so kind, yeah.
It's kind of like if you'd be so kind as to lend me a dime for a cheeseburger, and I'll pay you back on
Right.
Tuesday, right?
Right.
I was
The whole collection that you read was very moving
Mm.
and powerful, but I'm kind of worried you sound so not very happy.
Oh,
Then I was
that's for the
reading-
last 50 years.
He's-
That's
yeah.
okay. That's okay.
Mike's
But,
falling
hey, that makes the poems better. It makes the
Yeah, we
poems
love
better.
depression.
You see,
Oh, yeah.
Hey,
Welcome
that's-
to
Yeah,
the
I mean,
existential circus.
you can't
Hey.
fool Julie.
yeah,
man.
I really love that line. The truth is the death of shadow to be created.
yeah.
That really read, oh,
Oh, thank
the
you.
I
voice,
loved all
everything.
the imagery. you
Totally
wrote.
lyrical.
Thank you,
The
Patricia.
morning doves. I loved morning doves and that early morning. That was great.
Well,
Well,
thanks,
yeah,
for,
we don't want the reading to go into morning, so.
thanks for making us all happy, Ken.
And listen, as for the darkness, that's why we've got, Guy and Margaret coming up here. So
all right.
right in the
Thank you,
evening.
Ken. Thank you,
Thank
everyone.
you all. Thank you all.
Wonderful performance as always, Ken. Thank you. Guy Reed is author of poetry books Time Under the Overlook, Second Innocence, Lucador Press, The Effort to Hold Light, Finishing Line Press, and co-author with Cheryl A. Rice of Until the Words Came, Post-Traumatic Press. He won the 2022 Littoral Press Poetry Prize and has published numerous essays. He co-directed 2 short environmental films with filmmaker Katie Kokinos from Minnesota. Guy has now lived longest in the wonderful Catskill Mountains. Check him out at guyedwinreed.com. Again, another dear friend, another brother, Mr. Guy Reed.
Hello, everyone. Thank you, Ken, Mike, Greg, and everyone who tuned in, stuck it out. I am coming from our middle of our spare bedroom, which is the pink room. It's kind of fun. In 5 years, I've never done a Zoom here. I don't even know how long ago, 20 plus years, I probably first heard Ken read, and I remember thinking like, well, I want to write as well as that guy does someday. And his work and his humor and his whole lovely personality has been an inspiration over the years. So it's great to hear you, Ken. Margaret, I'm not familiar with. I look forward to hearing you as well. I did have a book come out in April called Time Under the Overlook, which is basically, well, of course, it was all pretty much written in my yard, but it was written about my yard. And so I'm going to read mostly from that book. I put my website and a link to where you can purchase the book in the chat just to get that over with. But please check it out if you get an opportunity. Last Friday, week ago, we lost power for like 18 hours after the rain. We had some wind come through, which is common here with just regular storm fronts. And I missed the last couple innings of the World Series, Game 6, and it came back an hour before Game 7, so I was so excited. But anyway, we lost power on Wednesday night into Thursday morning. That was only about 9 hours. So I thought I'd read the first poem in the book, which is called In the Wind. We've got the freight train winds tonight, as we call them on this side of the mountain, roaring, a storm front moving through, and I'm convinced an 80-foot pine will become airborne and sail at last. The old stone cairns deep in the woods blow hollow. It is double dangerous to stand in the open doorway smoking a cigarette while lawn furniture goes whistling by. Pressing my body from behind, I feel a subtle breeze, a ghost. With the wind in equal opposite force, I am immobile. This ghost is not cold, the wind is not biting, I am not sure what either wants. This wind is strong enough to take the ghost away and deposit it down the valley somewhere, unless it snags on a tree. Ghosts are not immune to nature's forces. They shiver in the cold, grow misty in the heat, and must seek shelter from the tempest. Close the door. Just in my bio, it's always weird to hear your bio. Thank you for reading it. It's weird. Littoral Poetry Press Prize, whatever. It was a broadsheet that got printed, and it's really lovely. Actually, I want to get that up on my website in order to purchase, but for the time being, I'll read from the book. Raven. Great wing beats explode off the ground up across the road into the mid-level leafless branches. I jump and slap my hands together, worried he mistook my clap as a shoo. I cluck croak a throated voice I've heard the blackbirds use in flight down the mountain swale of air. I want him to land. See, I'm not a threat. They remember faces. I walk around the corner, see a fresh dead squirrel, and realize I've disturbed the raven's dinner. Sorry, I say aloud. He's already flown from sight. Lately, I'm saying sorry to all the dead animals I drive by, an apology prayer for the indignity of death's display. Early in the spring, it's the squirrels who lead the roadkill. Last year was the chipmunks. This time, I only apologize to the raven. I'll read this one. It's interesting. I've been doing a lot of reading since this book came out in April. It's published by Bushwhack Books, which is Will Nixon. It also includes the cover and 7 other photos by Woodstock photographer Kelly Sinclair. That was really wonderful to do that, and it I don't know where I was going with that. I think I just wanted to mention it. But a lot of the readings and stuff, and it's been interesting, the poems that people that I like that I read and then other people like, and and then poems that basically I've never even read out of the book for whatever reason. Just an interesting note. But this is a favorite. Food chain. A mosquito draws blood from my temple without me noticing until I walk indoors. She lifts off to digest her red bulge and flies into the web threaded by the cellar spider I let live in the ceiling corner. The spider grows larger from a rich dose of iron, proteins, mosquito, and poet. Type O, a delicious silk-wrapped meal. Tonight I'm wearing wool, and there are no more mosquitoes. But a moth flew in. There's still things moving around out there. This is a poem that a lot of people like that I almost didn't put into the book, but I really, really wanted to, and I'm really glad I did. A Tuesday in July. Passed like the slight breeze. The cicadas ratcheted up the thermometer. I slapped a dollop of pesto onto my shirt, tried detergent on the oil, a full load of clothes into the wash, hung the laundry on the line. I answered a couple of letters, walked the dogs, and read some poems. The sun rose, clouds pass. The sun is now going down, is still hot. If there were headlines, I didn't see them. Many died, many were born, none that I know. No bills came due. There were gains and losses, but there is still love. And evil, too, insidious. It never rests. Perhaps just a phone call today, or a beep of a button. Some got good news and some received bad. Most heard both. The givers and takers and the ones who broke even. The world kept pumping away. A V of 7 herons flew overhead. First time I've seen more than 2 fly together. That's my news. I feel a 99% chance that tomorrow will come as predicted. Some days it's less. Many would say the chance is 100% every day. They stake their lives on it. I can't. The lily's perfume is beginning to fade. I guess tomorrow comes until one day. Nonetheless, the laundry is dry and now waits to be put away. The stain on my shirt will be there the next time I pull it from the hanger. Maybe I'll remember the herons. If it wasn't for the herons, I totally would have forgot that day. All the days we've forgotten where nothing happened, man. Just live one of those days over. That'd be pretty cool. I'm gonna read. I'm gonna read a poem for Ken. Was gonna read the darker poem, but then I thought, no, I'm gonna read this other one. In April 2019, the first ever photo of a black hole was released. Galaxy at the center of galaxy M87. Our galaxy is called, um, or the black hole in the center of our galaxy is Sagittarius A star. Sagittarius A star, hiding at the center of the Milky Way for billions of years. We've now taken your composite photo. Submillimeter radio waves, arrays across our globe, and your own accretion flow. We've seen your event horizon. How does that make you feel? From here, out on a spiral arm beyond the gas and dust, you were only an imaginary thing for 100 years or so. Did you worry when we gave you a name? Gravity that can hold light, particle, and wave? Does that place you near God? Perhaps you have pride for being known as real. Confirmed existence makes everybody feel good until they're exploited. Maybe you don't care. You go about your business of slowly swallowing the galaxy in a trickle of cosmic appetite. Though not the first, you are the most important black hole ever photographed. Part of the family. Our home black hole. You've been there. Every event since conception. Consider yourself now invited to all the parties, all the funerals, each one of us. Constantly seeing black hole stuff in the scroll on the phone and everything. But yeah, so the Milky Way's black hole was the second one ever photoed, and not even near as close as M87. What else did I have in store? This poem. Love. I'm so glad people seem to love this one or like it, or I don't know.
Your audio just dropped out a bit, Guy. We can hear you, but it's as if you're far away.
Testing, testing.
That's a bit better, but it still has a different quality.
Yeah.
There we go. That's good.
Okay.
Yeah.
How's it been up to that point? Pretty shitty?
No, pretty great. Oh,
Okay.
stupendous. I would say stupendous.
Cool. All right. Well, thanks for saying something.
All righty.
I'll eat the mic here. Like I said, this is a whole new setup, never been done before. After I'm gone, these trees will remain, some with the metal bolts I left swallowed deep into their oak hearts, my regret, along with the trees I cut. Japanese stilt grass will still try to take over the garden, but the native asters will glow lavender in the autumn twilight. No one will know my favorite books from the ones merely kept on the shelf, though it might still matter what movies I loved and which ones wasted 2 hours of my life. There will be a few friends to eulogize me. Perhaps some of my poems will be read before they're forgotten like annuals planted for color and pleasure. I knew the Hawks' view. born on the wide prairie horizon, but I flew west, became a crow in coastal mist, then moved east, made a new home, and learned the chickadees sight threading through the forest. I tried to make something last, not least of which was time itself. I wanted your smile and laughter the most. We had that nearly every day, didn't we? My wife is still my best friend in the whole world. Nobody I get more excited about hanging out with than Beth. I have another storm-related poem, but I think I've been lollygagging here. I'm gonna skip that. I'm gonna read two more from the book, and then a couple of new ones. Taking flight. Dragonflies rise into the sky, a widening gyre, vortex near my neighbor's stone fence, a bare place behind the cedars. I can wrap my arms around the bottom as hundreds of dragonflies spiral counterclockwise. Reaching the top, 20 feet wide, they fly off. But the spiral remains continuous. No nymph hatch feeding the swirl. The forest gives birth. A rift in matter's veil, dragonflies materialize right out of the air. Invitation from a nature spirit? Step forward, exuviate your skin, be sucked into the cyclone and transform, winged illusion, iridescent fire whirling into a summer night. I hold back. The spiral loosens. The final few achieve the top at dusk. Scattering to every direction, the dragonflies disappear as birds fall silent and crickets take up the night watch. I lumber home, still in my skin, undress, crawl into bed, close my eyes, intake, then release a breath, relax solar plexus, dream in the speed of light.
Wow.
And we started with a ghost and we'll end with a ghost. This is a pantoum. Ghost. Through the at-grade crossing in the fog-thick dawn, freight train creaks and moans its low whisper along the tracks. A procession of empty cages carries dark space, slipping north through the unconscious of sleeping towns. Freight train creaks and moans its low whisper along tracks, clickety long roll between the clack, slow circle on a line, slipping north through the unconscious of sleeping towns. Heavy mist holds high pitch, shudders low along the ditch. Clickety long roll between the clack, slow circle on a line, circadian rhythm, the train is due on time. Will you arrive? Heavy mist holds high pitch, shudders low along the ditch, leaves detach and drift to lie undisturbed among the stones.
Oh my God.
Yeah, that book's available if you want to scroll up there. I can put the link back in later too, lower
Yes.
in the chat. And these other two are on my computer. They're new. Well, newer. I wrote them in the summer. And here's one from July. I read that other poem about July. I don't know. I used to really dislike July. Like to me, it was the opposite of January, and I hated it for the same reasons though, because it was January was like the coldest, and July was just the hottest, and then I realized actually kind of late in life that my name rhymed with July, and I got a whole new, different perspective on it. Well, basically, I just grew to love every month, some more than others. April's still tough sometimes. But anyway, over the years, I think I could make a little side chapbook of just poems written in July. And I don't even know why. I don't get it. It's not my month. This might be the last happy poem I'll ever write. The 4th of July. I've always tried to have a perfect day. Do people try to have perfect days? Over the years, it's usually on the weekend or a day off. I mean, you can have a perfect work day, but it's not the same thing where you don't have to do anything. You don't have to go anywhere or talk or anything, but you just do whatever you choose to do in the moment and it goes really well, and you end up getting a little bit of everything done and then getting a good night's sleep. I don't know. Anyway, I had a perfect day this last 4th of July, which is totally weird. Happy 4th of July with you. Sitting on the wraparound porch, prairie farmhouse shaded by the windbreak's grove of trees, middle of the flat nowhere, trains no longer rush through, State Highway 32 miles south. We sip our morning coffee. It's going to be 85, but no more. We're silent, just watching the far horizon and changing light. Sun dapples the wispy grass by the house yard, while the farmyard is full of sun. There's a clear, fresh breeze and not a damn thing to do all day. We love it here. No need to march in parades. Let the flags flap lazily from their poles. For lunch, we'll visit a neighbor's picnic, sit in lawn chairs and wear hats under the big oak. We'll eat the county's best potato salad while we brought the beans. Driving home, right hand draped atop the steering wheel, I lift a forefinger to greet the neighbor's car passing on the way to town. Your bare foot is out the truck's window blocking the mirror, but that's just fine. 2 trails of gravel road dust drift across the cornfield, which looks good. Deep green and knee-high by the 4th of July. Back on the porch, we consider the Dairy Inn. Ice cream cones while we sit under the glow of faded fluorescent tubes that remind us of summers in the 20th century. Instead, strawberry rhubarb pie and coffee with cream at home in the pink and purple dusk. We see fireworks pop off along the distant mid-horizon. Faint booms reach us like thunder will later. If we're lucky, a thunderstorm rolling, light flashing across the fields and the tops of the grain silos shine. We listen to the rainfall into the night. Soft music plays from the radio in the empty kitchen.
A perfect day.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't do that on the 4th of July, but that's, it had that kind of feeling. So maybe I don't live in the Midwest anymore, but maybe someday I'll get a chance to have another day like that there. I want to thank Caps again, my poetry home, and all you guys for listening, tuning in. I look forward to hearing everyone read. And this one is an elegy. Sorry, I'm going to end with the sadder one, but that's the way life goes sometimes. Thanks again. One crow is for sorrow. A murder of crows talking, joshing, and jabbering out of my sight beyond the thick-leaved trees. Maybe hassling the doe and the fawn grazing under the branches who move off. I'm a visitor to this house. I hear a squirrel squawking insistently and think, there's the argument. Then silence. I walk down the drive through the dappled morning of late summer to see what's going on. The crows are nowhere to be seen. A large dead oak tree is centered in a ring of huge living oaks and giant blue spruces. They fill the sky. The dead tree was the crow's tree, the dark burl erupting out of the gentle green lawn. Long, thick limbs reached the end of their climb just to become stones in silhouette to blue. No squirrel, No sound, no motion, no nest. I stand there surrounded by an aged stillness, one view of life changed only by a death in the circle. I don't know these trees, but I knew you. We met decades ago, not long after learning to keep time. That's what we did for each other. I learned that recently when, unexpectedly, I outlived you. Now, I just have crows and trees. Born during the prime of our great-grandparents, the pines kept evergreen against winter's white cold, and these oaks will again shed leaves, grow new ones in the spring. The trees will endure further, past me and what was us, but they don't live forever. Friend, so much continues, and two crows are for mirth. Thanks.
Thank you.
Wow, guy. That was stupendous.
Oh, thanks.
I hope you can see all of what folks were saying in chat.
I'll check it out. In my peripheral vision, I
Yeah,
see the new Zoom feature. I was like, wow, they were doing that during Canada. I was like, that's super cool. I want to be doing that.
Oh man,
So that was fun.
the depth and the range and the way you read everything. It's just spectacular.
Thanks. Well, I hope the sound quality. I had the earbud with the mic thing, but I've heard that isn't always
No,
good.
you sound. There was only a couple of times when it went tinny.
Yeah,
With you,
yeah.
nine
Okay.
times,
When you were
95% of the time you were.
yeah,
All right.
yeah.
Well, I'm here mainly because I'm in the house and the Wi-Fi is better. So
Thanks, Guy.
great. Thank you,
Beautiful,
everyone.
wonderful,
Beautiful.
beautiful read.
That was great.
Thanks.
Our next open micer. Here's where I start getting screwy. Margaret Saraco published two poetry collections, If There Is No Wind and Even the Dog Was Quiet, Human Error, which was a finalist in the Islands Book Award contest. She won first place in the Moving Words competition for her poem Dear Rorschach, and her story Her, She, Me won the Jinsoko Literary Journal Flash Fiction Contest. Margaret was a semi-finalist in the Laura Boss Book Awards contest, has received several honorable mentions in the Allen Ginsberg Poetry Contest, and has been nominated for a pushcart. She reads banned books, trusts science, and believes in fighting for our democracy. Let's give her a hand just for that. She recently moved to Portland, Oregon. Margaret, you're up.
Thanks, Mike. Glad to be here. So tonight, and thank you, Guy and Ken. It's been wonderful to listen to your work. Thank you, Greg. We're so glad you're okay. I'm going to read about a half a dozen poems and end with that flash fiction piece. I think you'll enjoy it. And my reading today is mostly focused on recent published work that has a political edge to it. I excommunicated myself at age 12. I'm told to sit at a folding table after Mass and pressure congregants to sign an anti-abortion petition. I refuse. The Monsignor and I argue. He corners me in the balcony. Demanding I get signatures for their Catholic crusade was not something I could do even at 12. He told me this was not a choice. At least that's how I remember it. Back in the 30s, my grandparents and the other Italian immigrants built this church, raised the roof, created a place to worship. This church had been my home, my sanctuary, even if priests preached here for 20 years, not counting those sent away quickly, quietly, secretly, later accused of child abuse. It could never compare to generations of families that lived and prayed in this place. But back then, I remember Monsignor yelling, gesticulating behind me, making a scene as we spiraled down the staircase from the balcony. I remember the smell of frankincense and myrrh stinging my nostrils, and the surprising smooth texture of the dark polished wood handrail. As I opened the massive oak door, His voice grew distant, dissipated to a whisper. I stepped into a blue sky Sunday morning. At least that's how I remember my small act of disobedience. And that was published in Voices in Italian Americana. They're pretty fabulous people over there. This next one is in Fixed and Free Quarterly. It's called Enough is Enough. I wonder what it would be like if there was no such thing as profit and people always had what they needed, where we needn't worry that they have enough to live, to eat, to be taken care of in old age, because we would share everything. Science fiction stories run through my mind where profit is removed as a life motivator, some dystopian, yes, but others not. What would we be left with? Where would we be now? Those same stories show two divergent cultures, usually warring and incompatible. How can we get to the right side of human evolution? My mother was moved from one nursing home to another. When medical monies ran out, ward of the state, they told me, if her bed is empty, we fill it. Alternating emergency hospital stays with a bed in a nursing home, they shift a confused, lonely woman in the latter stage of dementia back and forth to a different place, each home worse than the one before. Once en route to the ER by ambulance, on a beautiful late winter morning, she died in the parking lot. So just to acknowledge we're dealing with a lot of stuff here in our world, and I am in Portland, and just to say, it isn't a war zone. It's quite lovely here. We've got lots of inflatable frogs and people that are dancing in the street to combat all the craziness. But we are all very aware of what's going on here. This is from an anthology called Whisper, Whisper, Shout. Some of my friends on this call are in these books. It's been so fun to choose these. It's called We Are Being Hunted. Oh, I probably should just write a whole book about my nightmares. This is one of my nightmare poems. We are being hunted. I spend the nights in unrest, unable to communicate in nocturnal throes that consume each moment. I'm hunted through forests by politicians with guns, taking aim and missing just by a hair. I run on grass made of nails as my punishment for speaking truth to power, each nickel-plated spike piercing my skin. But when I stop, my pock-marked feet feel no pain until I look, cradle them, and cry. In my dreams, I live in shrinking homes that lose their walls in frigid temperatures, with no clothes or blankets to warm my naked body. Worse, I am unable to protect all those around me, my children, my partner, my students, my friends, my neighbors, strangers who need my help. We are all being hunted. Finally, and at last, I try and survive the night, climbing out of sinkholes while stalagmite crystals snap above my head, looking for a path out of this dizzying labyrinth. Thank you. So the next poem is written, it's actually, there's a group called Writing the Land, which pairs poets and land trusts around the country. It's amazing how many of us there are now. I originally wrote this for the Hartford River in Connecticut, and we had many poems to put into the book, and this one didn't make it in there. So instead, I published it on something called Poets for Science, which is Jane Hirschfield's site. It's very cool, and I'm going to put a bunch of information in the chat so people can look for these things and perhaps submit your own. It's called Eternal Hope, and it's from the point of view of the tree. I am, whispers, a deep loss through bent tree branches. Trembling leaves murmur, do you remember the breeze and water cascading over rocks? We are dry, drying, dried. I am waits for rainwater to drench and purify, to restore life, yet neither sleeping nor awake, the woods and river, in quietude, contemplate uncertainty. This next one requires a little bit of explanation. It's there was an art project created by these people. It's called the Telephone Game. And they connected about 1,300 artists across 60 something countries. And it's like telephone. So, you know, I wrote a piece in response to someone's musical creation that also included words. And then my piece, someone responded to with a piece of art. It's amazing. And I hope you will go on and just look at it. It's totally free to look. And if they ever do it again, I would really encourage people to jump in. This was my portion of it. It's called Conversations with a Poet on the Other Side of a Poem. The whirl of helicopter blades roll into sound waves that lap the shoreline. I step into the ocean up to my knees in blue jeans, fixate on a darkening sky. Can you float? You talk of disappearing. Why must you disappear? Why must we fade? I wait for your answer. Shadows in the distance loom. Rain sheets race to shore across nautical miles. Thunder explodes. Lightning scribbles warnings overhead. Count claps and strikes with me, though you are not nearby. The epicenter is upon us. Do not let go, but slide into the ocean's womb, a sea cave, a safe space where hatred surrenders, black helicopter blades pulverize into confetti, and compassionate strangers offer love and refuge. I will not move off with you from this poem. I will not move without you. I will not move until you appear between these lines inside verse. I wait, though we never have met. You have touched my heart. Thank you. I have two more pieces, a poem and then a short prose piece. This one actually, thank you, Patricia Carragon, was published in one of the Brooks Brownstone anthologies, and it's called Channeling. My daughter telephones on a warm late summer night, bored and stuck. 3 hours separate us east to west coast. The Hood Canal Bridge above a saltwater tidal basin opens for a nuclear submarine that has the right of way, negotiating space, passing unencumbered to a shipyard, wreaking havoc for drivers on the lone crossing. As she speaks, I place my right hand over my heart and my left over that, listening to her on speaker, aware of a tightness growing in my chest. A warring cul-de-sac vessel constructed for destruction contrasts the picturesque Kitsap and Olympic peninsulas and the fjord that lays between them. We chat to pass the time. After the vessel is successfully parked and we hang up, she is on her way. I spend the day researching nuclear submarines in Washington. What else should I do? What else can I do? And this last piece is a stream of consciousness, I guess is the easiest way to just put you inside of it. It's called Her, She, Me. She hides her body beneath the brown coat she found on the street by the dumpsters. The coat is hot, the sidewalk hot. They don't think she can hear them talking, but she hears everything they say. A boy passed her last week, yesterday, today, and said he thought he was going to be sick when he saw her. Time is difficult, her, she, me thinks. She can't remember her name and scratches her head. Her scalp is dry and it hurts, and the sun is too hot, the coat hot, the sidewalk hot. The boy she remembers. She is thinking about the boy. She remembers. She hasn't forgotten. She has had a boy, a son. That can't be right. She paws at her scalp. Her head hurts. The boy walks down the street. She wants to seep through the grates on the sidewalk. She slumps down, her brown coat wrapped around her, and scratches her head again. Her head hurts. Her stomach hurts. People keep walking by. There was a boy that passed here last week, yesterday, today. He was getting sick when he saw her face. His mother took him away. Did the mother take her son away? Her, she, me lunged at the woman, cursed and spit. The woman jumped and ran with her son. Wait, no, that wasn't her son, was it? She didn't have a son. Her head hurts. She scratches it harder and blood trickles down her face. The brown coat is hot. It is hot today. She can't take it off. They can't see her if she sinks into her brown coat. Somebody left it. Was it her son? Did he leave it for her? Was he looking for her? They can't see her if she doesn't look at them. Her head hurts. The coat is hot, the sidewalk hot. She whimpers, mourning her dead son. She is not sure she has a son. She can't let anyone see her. She sinks her head down, burrows into her coat. Her tears leave her face red. She wipes them away and looks at her hands. She thinks she must have a name. The boy has a name. The woman who thought she was his mother called him something. She scratches her head. They still don't see her. His name was Rick. Her boy is Rick. She misses him. That is a name. Named after his mother. Her name could be Nick. Her name is Rick. Or was he named after his father? She dives deeper, deeper, deeper down and dredges a memory. The child born and all the blood, wet, sticky. Did she bleed? Did he? When darkness comes, she is scared. Every night she is scared. She crawls into her coat, settles on the ground, and makes believe she isn't there, hidden until she disappears and is no more. Unless the boy comes back, until her son comes back to her, she, me. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Absolutely fantastic, Margaret.
Oh, thanks.
Just beautiful.
Thank you, Margaret.
Thank you.
Anybody with a kind word, please come and say it.
Only kind ones.
Fabulous, as usual.
Oh,
Margie, the best.
Thanks, Patricia.
That was wonderful, Margaret. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All three of you were wonderful. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, how about a hand for all three featured readers?
Yeah,
Ken and
it's
Guy and
wonderful
Margaret.
readings.
That
Triple header.
It was a triple header today.
Oh, thanks.
We like
that. To hear you, Margaret. That was really strong work.
It was
Thank you.
But
still absorbing. Yeah.
startling.
Keep
but
up with
easy to take in because of the way it flowed. I don't know. This is really, really good.
Thanks, Guy.
I mean, not easy, I mean, it hurts, but
Yeah, your voice is so like gentle and innocuous, and then the words are carrying so much.
Yeah.
With that, yeah.
Keep up the good fight out there in Portland.
I will. I'm
Yeah,
excited to hear the open, so.
Well, real quick, where about in Portland do you live? I'm just curious.
I'm at Stark and 28th, which is on the southeast side.
You're southeast, okay.
Yeah.
I lived up in the hills, up Barnes, out of Northwest. So for about 3 years in the 90s, love Portland.
It's a great city. Come and visit if you want.
Oh, I miss it.
Got guest rooms.
I miss it.
Powell's Bookstore, one of the best independents in the country.
Lots of bookstores.
Yeah.
Great.
They got a lot of my money.
Oh, gosh.
All right, I want to thank all three of our readers tonight. Thank you, guys. You made Caps what Caps is, so thank you so much. Being that we are running late, I hate to do this, but let's do one poem apiece for the open mic. And let's start the open mic with the host of the one and only Brownstone Poets, Patricia Carragon.
Give it all you got. New York was superfly city, provocative, dangerous, a city on fire, its thrill of expectation. The hieroglyphic B train, her dollar ride to dreamland. She chewed gum, wore big hair, earrings, and anxiety. Her Walkman played Chuck Mangione. Upbeat notes danced in her ears, oblivious to underground leers. Another day of dodging stares and aggressive comments. Another day of brown-nosing the boss and dealing with micromanagers. Another day of vying for the corner office and the perks from a pinstripe prince with his 6-digit income. Another day of doing more than her share. She gave it all she got. The gum chewing stopped. The accent faded. The earrings shrank. The hair tamed into a bob. But blonde highlights couldn't hide working class roots and naivety. Her desk had no photos of life after 9 to 5. Her social life had limitations. Her world revolved around her mother. Her eyes conveyed who she was. The lower middle management job kept her sandwiched between fresh-faced trust fund kids and a disrespectful male teen. 25 years later, the axe fell. The prince never came, only age and insecurity. Death freed her from her mother. Lockdown freed her from office politics. While driving to YouTube and Chuck Mangione, she ditched her cassettes and Walkman. She became who she was, and the gates came crashing down. Thanks.
Woo!
Woo!
You want to let us know who's up for Brownstone this month?
Not this month, it'll be on December 6th. We're going to have the anthology reading. I'm in the process of getting it people together, and probably by next week I'll be sending it out because Roxanne has to do the other end, the Zoom end, and I can't do that yet. I need the Zoom link. So to come. So be aware. I'll be posting it.
Thanks, Patricia.
Thanks.
John Bartell, you're up.
Okay, here I go. This is called Fire Season. I'm not sure if I've read this here before, but if I have, y'all probably forgotten it anyway. Fire Season. American kestrel floats in lazy circles across the sky, as if the wall of smoke that hangs behind her, marching lockstep forward, sanding fissures into the polished, is nothing more than a privacy curtain. Like the one pulled in that semi-private room at UMBC, corralling us around his bed in silence, because what can you say when death takes a cigarette break? It is nothing more than a fairy tale. Brother, listen. All you have to give is not tethered in this life. You are not safe in this place where timbers will burn and embers will fall like spring rain, where even the salamanders will pray. Leave now. Take with you all the things he gave. The 4th of July backyard crab feast, fossil hunting in the doomed wetlands, that camping trip in the Saddle Mountains when he quit climbing halfway up to light a Benson and Hedges, but you made it to the top and stood laughing in a tide of wildflowers, unconcerned with distant wisps of smoke rising lazily. Thank you.
Thanks, John.
Yep.
John will be reading for us next year on September 4th. I don't expect anybody to remember that, but I just thought I'd say it. Thank you again, John. Ron Bremner, you're up.
Okay, West Ray Literary Group has published my 10th published poetry collection. It's called You Who Are the Stranger, collected poems 1979 to 1989, and the title is taken from a Leonard Cohen lyric. And because it is so late, I will read something very short. This was written over 40 years ago on a writer's retreat in Vermont. Further thoughts on Phil Oakes, 3 summers after his passing. Sun files through the pine needles. Bugs filter through the light. Wind tickles the maple leaves. The light profiles a spider's web half torn, which shivers in the final breeze of summer as the leaves resume their turning. Thank you and have a pleasant evening.
Thanks, Ron. Always great to see and hear you. Thank you, man. Joann Decidibus, you're next.
I'm not prepared.
Well, if Tom goes next, will you be prepared after that?
We could do that.
Yeah.
That's fair.
You
Yeah.
All right, Tom Festa, you're up.
All right. This is a Haibun. It is forthcoming in Drifting Sands. It's called To My Son, Who Has Moved to the City. Attendance not required. Why on earth lend an ear to minds in constant conflict when I could walk down to the little wooden footbridge and listen to the mountain brook instead? Minute bubbles glisten against dark rock bottom as a water strider darts its wild shifts against the stream. A great old sycamore overhangs the terraced water, pale roots exposed. Its peeling bark falls away with leaves from neighbors' maple and oak onto snaggletooth crags and nets of broad fern. Under this disguise, a truer camouflage. I've forgotten all about my phone. Autumn comes too. The spring, swollen with rain, breaks free. Thank you.
Well done. Thank you, Tom. Joann.
Yeah. I'm just gonna read something out of Lost and Found. Just, trying to pick. Okay. This is called Angel of Constellations. When you woke, I was gone. Strange stars fixed me in pooling darkness. Light slipping, tossed under and up, floating back to surfaceless wave swell. I awoke to undertow. You to solitude. The near silence of machines breathing. And I, empty-bellied angel of light, showed you the way. This way. Yes, this is the way to heaven, step by step, falling down into cold blue sky. Thanks.
Always great to hear you guys. Thank you. Margie, are you up? You still with us?
Yes.
Go for it.
Am I unmuted?
Yes.
Okay. I would like to first say, Guy, I have a poem that's called The Perfect Day. I think that there are some universal themes that we all deal with or experience, in our lives. And I was struck by 2 or 3 of them tonight in the different poetry. But this is just like not connected to any of that. This is a poem I wrote just recently. I have skin. I have bones. The bones keep me upright. The skin is a buffer zone between onslaughts. The air, the cold, the heat, the bugginess of mosquitoes, the snakes that wander by, the wind that embraces viruses. The skin and bones do a great job. But it is the depth and length and strength of the muscle mass, the communion in my own body that has my deeper respect. You do the very difficult job of holding it all together. The bones and the skin change each year ever so slightly, so slowly, but the muscles can lose mass in a brief time. They need constant attention. I've never understood the preoccupation with skin care, nail care, hair care. These outer perimeters of the body are nothing like the muscle rivers pulsing along bone banks, playing the dance game and the atlas game, holding up each individual world as it goes about waving. Hello, hello. Thanks.
Thank you, Margie.
It's great.
Yeah, we like that one. Marilyn Johnson, did you want to read?
Yes, please.
Go for it.
It's a poem called Range. Don't leave, my father said. Don't leave. Without ceremony, I threw my coat and books in a duffel, lugged it to the car, and left. My mother took me to the airport, sniffing back tears. If I stayed, eldest daughter, all I could see, driving the surviving children anywhere so my parents could weep, eating endless potatoes to weigh myself down. As the wind charged off Lake Erie with its needles and ice, as I put on my parents' middle age and ticked off my late teens, servant to their sorrow. If I stayed, would I still be stuck in these lines? A year, I say now, from my mountain of years. I could have given them that. Thanks.
Ooh la la. I love that.
Excellent, Marilyn. Where are you calling from, man? Where are you coming in from, Marilyn?
Westchester County, Briarcliff, near Tarrytown.
Oh, yeah. Very familiar. Thanks for coming on. Who's next? Julian Matthews, you still with us? Julian.
Or this is Julie, but you didn't call my name yet.
No, you're coming up, Julie. I want to see.
Okay.
I want to see if Julian's still there. I guess he cut off. Okay. Sam Hardy, you still with us? We lost a few people along the way.
Yeah.
All right, Julie, you're up, buddy. Julie.
Okay, I'm as always a little bit lighter. I just wrote this afternoon, so it's a premiere. Me and my scion. We're both past our prime, my silver scion and me. Our best years are behind us, but still we carry on, intrepid road warriors. We've outlived our allotted life expectancies, but when I press pedal to the metal, she surges eagerly ahead, ignores speed limits, easily passes 80. I haven't dared push her to her outer limits. We both require regular maintenance. She flashes a cautionary light in orange to tell me when she's thirsty, but stealthily leaks oil without a warning. We both have bulbous curves, but lack awareness of how huge we really are. She's suffered more than me, at least externally. She's full of dings and dents I can't afford to fix. My damage is more internal, invisible to other eyes, but I'll forgo a dreary organ recital. Still, we roll on bravely down the road in search of an unknown future. Thank you.
Well done, Julie. I like it.
Thank you.
That was Julie Lomoe coming from Troy. Joanie, I can't pronounce your last name. Joanie, you still with us?
You're not alone.
Well, that's good to know.
Or as David Bowie would say, we're not alone. Now let's sober up here, Joanie.
So what is that? Zoiske?
No, it's Zoiske.
Well, okay. Would never have guessed that one.
Zoiske.
No, maybe
okay, you're up.
Maybe I should just change it. Okay. All right. Hang on. I just got to get the piece. This is called Questions. Was there ever a chance in hell that the bombs that fall would be diverted by some unseen hand, a force, a band of angels perhaps, all the casualties falling into eager laps of peaceful first responders standing by on the ground? Was there ever a moment in time when timid humans, ashamed of their own schadenfreude, would own up to the dreadful things they'd done and take responsibility, hence inaugurating a path of growth going forward? Was there ever a moment when Scrooge felt pity for his minions? Did Captain Ahab, with his leg of ivory, for one moment feel mercy for Moby Dick? Did Cartoon Tom ever take pity on Cartoon Jerry, breaking the cat and mouse blood barrier? How did the power and the powerless dyad first present itself? Shouldn't we study the wisdom of the pecking order? What is your position? Did one creature ever consult a dietitian to examine the validity of the food chain? Is brute strength a fair indicator? Is fairness just one more excuse for amoral equivocation? Does the good guy get a fair chance, or are the good damned to be conquered by forces of evil? Did anyone ever consider if the devil, say Mephistopheles, like some Krishna in his magnificent manifestations, ever wear a skirt? Or menstruate? Were all his aspects male? Are pagan pantheons and the Almighty equally mighty? Does a genderless system emanate from Ein Sof? Would the Sephiroth stay balanced if the globes are non-binary? Do the diadems on the tree of life emulate yin and yang, good and evil, darkness and light, being and nothingness? Who was the first human? Did it have a gender? A penis? Since there was no vagina from which it could be differentiated, was it not then a pioneering product of parthenogenesis? Why was the first woman a cursed woman? Who placed the serpent in the garden, the Almighty or the devil? How do we have sky, sea, and land, each populated by creatures copulating? Did it simply happen? Genesis, nemesis, synthesis, splat. Is creation transcendent, transspecies? Does the Pope wear a hat? Questions surround and perplex us, are, in the end, insoluble. We live and die with unanswered queries that disintegrate, as do we. Then the whole damn thing begins again.
Well
Done.
Indeed.
Thank you, Joanie.
Thank you. Thank
Where
you.
are you calling in from?
I'm calling in from Manhattan.
Oh, cool. Okay, we'll take that one.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Stephen Schwei, you're next if you're still with us.
Yes, I am. Thank
Go
you.
for it. Haven't seen you in a while.
Yeah, I have a standing conflict with you guys, but decided to spend time with you. Remnants. 1. They could lie beneath stomping feet and spaded dirt, a patch of green like whipped cream on a banana split, gravestone cherry on top, sprinkled with non-plastic flowers. Not too close to a stream for a breathless water slide. When squalls arise, coffins next to amateurs might shake them. A place for a marker, a stone-cold burrowed nesting place, one last plot of my own. 2. Or be cast upon breezes after not suffering in the blazing inferno, like Uncle Pat, his ashes lacing the opposite hillside railroad tracks beneath storming carriers. He would rock on his veranda, knew their schedule, whether or not they kept to it. I or some progeny would have to discern a place meaningful to me, perhaps mom and dad's graves, to have my cake and eat it too. I would have to ponder a good long time on where. 3. Words, simply words. If they mean anything and someone finds them safe from a house fire or musty in an old trunk I would have to buy, all digital now, so they'll last but still grow dusty and worn, threadbare, used as a rag, misplaced, uttered one century, but not the next, saying more about me than anything else, going beyond my dates and something pithy any gravestone might bequeath, adding a quarter page of my scribbles to the tome of world literature. 4. Memories, pure memories, passed down like my fortune and keepsakes to ones who knew me almost best. Then their heirs with vague recollections, photos to remind them when I had a beard and who else in the family I looked like. Then withered, difficult to picture, not quite sure who I'm related to and who's still alive, if any. That's it. 3 generations, and I'd have to be George Washington or Bruce Springsteen to be remembered any longer. 5. A house in Montmartre sports a plaque for Vincent van Gogh where he spent at least one day and one night. A sturdy building supporting the fact that he walked the earth. Sure, his art is his ultimate legacy. Sunflowers will always bloom and clouds will part for another starry night. The sign merely supplies a spot to reflect, genuflect if you want, shed a tear, cast all your morbid thoughts until the memorial too lies beneath crumbs. 6. I could blend most of them with a plaque containing my best writing, hanging where my ashes are scattered upon a grave. Seems like overkill. Maybe there are others, like one last entry in an accountant's ledger, skywriting at my funeral, fading into the ether. A large enough donation to get my name on some ephemeral structure or road until some more notable person dies. At 71, it's time to decide, or leave it to the whims and winds. Thank you.
Thank you, Stephen. Good to see you.
Excellent.
Eric Wasileski, would you like to read?
Sure. Thank you.
Sure.
Yeah, I wrote this in a Warrior Writers Workshop. It's called The Mock in Democracy. What is happening? The Marines are in Los Angeles. Not the Mariners baseball team, but the United States Marine Corps. 1, 2, 3, 4. Marines are for killing the enemies of America. America doesn't have any enemies in Los Angeles. What is happening? The National Guard has been called out in Washington, District of Columbia. They are being used as groundskeepers. There is no good reason to have our National Guard in the Capitol. What is happening? Residents and citizens are being grabbed off our city streets, schools, courts, and hospitals without due process. Our government is putting the mock in democracy. It is time for we, the people, to stand up. It is time to stand up. The systems of checks and balances seem to be stretched to the breaking point. The ultimate check and balance has always been the engaged citizenry of this great land. The constitutional crisis will not solve itself. It is time to stand up. Thank you.
I say yes to that poem. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Where are you calling from? Where are you coming in from, Eric?
Yeah, I'm in Pittsfield, Mass.
Cool. Thank you very much for joining us tonight.
It's a pleasure. Thank you.
Stephen Roberts, you're up.
Okay, I have one, I guess. This is an older one. This is called Conversation on a Train. It was near Napoleon's tomb, a beautiful park in the 16th, no, 17th arrondissement. So agreed the gray couple after a false start, exchanging memories with the widow newly met, all parties being recent retirees of a major corporation. I dozed and tried to dream of Paris, where I had never been. I failed. A summer rerun of station stops unspooled instead as we traveled along the line, past geometries of green, where measured life is lived on weekends with all deliberate speed. What were they saying now? Something about healthcare. I felt relieved they had made provision for medical catastrophe. Somewhere, before my stop, I thought of lips I had never kissed. Thank you.
Stephen will be our featured, I believe, in December. I know that. I think it's December 18th off the top of my head. Stephen Roberts will be our featured poet on December 18th. So if you can join us, please do.
That was lovely, Steve.
I'm just going to yell out a few names. Mary Louise, you still with us?
No, she's
Oh,
not.
Lisa St. John, are you still with us? I don't think so.
Nope, she's not.
Did Christopher Bogart leave also?
He also did.
Oh man, these people like just cut out early. All right. Is there anybody who I've missed besides Greg Correll? There was a little bit of a.
I don't think so.
All right. Then our last reader for the evening, our last open micer will be the man behind the curtain, Mr. Greg Correll.
This poem is called Whiz Bang. I sizzle, I mutter myself awake, and when I sleep, I write an ode to a baboon. Birch bark crawls with worm glyphs, dazzling the double Z king of wards. I don't like the idea of prison, I says. I slash my arm for a splintered life. I squirm in battle beans. I mash mangoes with my toes to make jammy liquor. I hide in Iceland. I burrow below life. I thrive in the dark, yes, blooming in heartbeats. Tiny fossils, sculpt erupting and flowing down, flowaging. Sludge lines, assumptive, squirreling away, 13mm wrench in my works, the slam Jimmy, Johnny cake, flurry of party night, geez, just to get into the Jeep, like a crimson blow to the head, a kite in the high miles of wind, and I pull and pull, sizzling, muttering. I am awake, and when I sleep, I can't remember a word.
Ah, one of those tricky endings. Greg Correll, everybody.
That was good. Can't remember.
I want to thank Guy Reed, Ken Holland, Margaret Saraco for their great features tonight. Thank you, everybody. All our open micers, the folks that joined us and the folks that stayed in and the folks that left early. Thank you, everyone. We would not be what we are without you. So I want to thank you all again. Our next reading will be third Thursday, November 20th, with the one and the only Mr. Eddie Bell from North Carolina. Eddie's just wonderful. I know some of the longtime Caps people know who Eddie is. He'll be reading on November 20th. So please join us again if you can. I want to thank you all for hanging in there despite the complications we had earlier. Give yourselves a hand. Anybody want to say any final words? Please do, because I've run out of things to say.
I want to thank everyone for generous comments. Was able to read a few of those, but wonderful night. Another great night of Caps. Caps never disappoints.
Thank you.
Scott.
Yeah, and you also brought good luck because while we were on, it broke that a judge banned the National Guard from Portland permanently.
All right.
Eric had that poem while he was reading the poem. That's when I picked it.
Nice.
That is amazing. That is so
sweet.
cool.
We got to keep spreading it, right, to the other areas that are being infected. But yeah, it's good news.
And let's hope the Supreme Court denies taking up the same-sex marriage case.
Yes,
total.
thank you very much.
Let's
And
hope.
I have a question for Ken.
Yep.
In a different earlier chapter of your life, were you an architect? Because
Yeah, were you an architect, Ken?
when I was listening to your reading, all I could think of is architecture. That is an underlying like theme that you put into words. But anyway, were you an architect?
Well, I will say that a few things. Number one, I love that word. Number two, I have used it in a handful of poems because I love that word. Number three, in my earlier years, no. But number four, in a past life, maybe.
That's it. That's
Oh,
it.
you wormed out of that one. Yeah.
But do you like architecture?
I love the construction of a poem.
Yeah,
If
there
I will
you
put it
go.
this way, if I was an
That is
architect,
That's what she's saying.
the architecture.
yeah, but
Because
Cool. That's
the
what she's saying.
construction of a poem is like the same as someone who is a mechanical engineer and like builds the bricks and builds everything. But an architect is the one that takes that foundation and creates the beauty.
yeah.
So an architect is more than just somebody who can construct.
Well, there's also a deeper conversation about architecture and how much of that is the scaffolding of a poem and how much of the scaffolding do you need to take away, yada, yada. But I will say this, if I were a real architect and I had designed and had a building constructed, I would not recommend anybody live there. So, for your safety's sake.
I would like to say
Thank you,
something.
Margie.
I would like to say something to Guy Reed.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I loved your reading. I loved everybody's reading, by the way. And this is a wonderful environment. I'm so happy I came and to be hanging out with you guys, the big boys and the big upstate boys. And Guy, you remind me very much of George Winston. Do you know who he was?
George Winston?
The the composer.
The composer?
Yes.
Piano player?
Wyndham Hill.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, Wyndham Hill, yeah.
Yeah, he was a friend of mine. And I knew him many, many years ago. And it's not just the facial similarity, it's kind of like the mentality of your poetry, which contains whimsy and the dark and the light and moving fluidly between these spaces, the meditative quality of it. It was kind of like your poetry was like his music, but in words. I just wanted to convey that.
Wow. Well, thank you so much. That's beautiful. Thank you.
Joanie, that's a out of right field and amazing comparison.
Yeah, really.
I'm sorry I don't know George Winston, but I will definitely check George Winston out.
You can
And I love your
find it-
background, by the way.
Yeah, he was on Wyndham Hill. You'll find his work on all over the place.
Yeah, you'll dig it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, cool. Well, I'm honored. Thank you.
I'm honored.
Hey,
Thank
Joanie, wasn't he one of the first folks that you could say kind of ushered in that whole new age thing?
Absolutely. Yeah, he
Mm.
was. Although
he
he would
was-
have hated that he would have hated that.
Right.
Yeah,
But,
well, no, he was like the flagship of Wyndham Hill. He was,
Yeah.
He was
yeah,
Wyndham.
he was the star. He was Wyndham
wa-
Hill in many
yeah, well,
ways.
he was the founder of it, and
Yeah.
he loved more than anything. He loved to present other artists. He was one of the most generous, gracious people in the world.
Mhm.
I have to say
I didn't
that.
know he passed. So
Yeah, about a year and a half ago.
Oh, that
So,
recent.
On
Yeah.
Joanie, you knew him?
yeah,
Joanie,
he
you knew him?
yeah. Mhm.
Oh, man.
We worked together at Peterson Publishing Company. We were about 21, maybe, on Sunset Strip. And he used to be the driver, or he'd drive his little VW.
Wow.
I bought his old VW. That was my first car.
Wow.
Yeah, he was an amazing human being. Yeah.
Guy, if I'm not mistaken, I think some of his really quality work was December.
Ugh.
And was the other one Winter? If I'm
The July poems.
Yeah.
Oh, yes. He did a lot of seasonal work.
Yes.
Seasonal work.
Yeah.
Yes. I
Mhm.
understand what you mean. Yeah.
In fact, I remember
Autumn.
because it's getting to be appropriate. That Wyndham Hill put out a seasonal Christmas album, of course, of which George Winston was at least one or if not more of the compositions on there. So
Yeah.
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 Anyway, we're really getting into the Wyndham weeds.
Well, this is great. Well, I'm so glad you're part of CABS,
Yeah.
Thank you.
Joanie. Yeah.
Thank you, everybody.